He learned the maxim, deny till you die. Speaking of evolving leftist rhetoric, this is great. Anti-gate is upon us. Zohran Mamdani, the Muslim communist who is almost certainly going to be the next mayor of New York, unless the betting markets are now shifting a little bit because of anti-gate. Zohran Mamdani made this claim just a few days ago about 9/11.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City.
Oh, he's so choked up.
I want to speak to the memory of my aunt.
Oh, he can't even. He just loved his aunt so
stopped
much.
Taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
So, okay. Thesis. The real victims of 9/11 were Muslims who felt a little awkward in New York. And as he points to the example, he says, my aunt, she wore a hijab and she stopped taking the subway because she felt uncomfortable in her hijab. Okay. So the sleuths on the internet did a little fact check. And here we see that his aunt doesn't wear a hijab. His aunt, what is an aunt? That's going to be the next great Matt Walsh movie. What is an aunt? The sister of one's mother or father. Or a great aunt would be the sister of one's grandparents. They look through all the aunts they can find, and they find out that the aunt doesn't wear a hijab and doesn't live in New York. And didn't live in New York anytime around 9/11. The whole thing was totally made up. So what does Zohran do? Does Zohran admit that he lied? Or does he persist? Tonight, Friendly Fire returns for episode 2. Join me, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Andrew Klavan, and a special appearance from our newest Daily Wire host live, 7 p.m. Eastern on Daily Wire Plus. I would love to tell you exactly what's going to happen, but here's the truth. There's no script. There's no plan. There's no preparation whatsoever. It is 4 of the most trusted and downright sexy voices in conservative media, debating, discussing, disagreeing, while the entire internet watches and comments in real time. Watch Friendly Fire tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Daily Wire Plus. If you're not a member yet, join for as little as $7 a month with our deal of the decade at dailywire.com/subscribe. My favorite comment yesterday is from Mila Nelson, who says, the legitimate jump scare I had when Michael said Kourtney Kardashian wants you to do with her lollipop line of probiotics. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We don't need to rehash that. I had a jump scare too. Go to Metashare.com/Michael. There's no way around it. When it comes to healthcare, people are frustrated with how much it costs and how to pay for it. The usual ways we've been doing this have only gotten more expensive, more complicated, and aggravating. That is why Metashare is such a welcome relief. It's called healthcare sharing. It's different and it works. More than 1 million Americans are now doing this, and Metashare has been a great option for more than 30 years. So really, you could save thousands of dollars a year on your healthcare and be happy. Imagine that. If you've heard about it and you want to know more, there are 2 easy options. One, you go to Metashare.com/Michael, Michael, or you just grab your phone and you send a text. You will get the info that can really help you and your family out. You text the word Michael. Once again, I will spell it for you. That is Michael to 70246 to get the facts. Text Michael, Michael, to 70246, and you will get the link. That is Michael to 70246, or just pull up your browser and go to Metashare.com/Michael. Okay. Zohran says the real victims of 9/11 were Muslims who felt a little awkward sometimes, even though actually Americans' perceptions of Islam actually improved after 9/11. How insane is that? How insane is that? Our country is so stupidly nice that after 9/11, after Muslims in the name of Islam took down 2 of our buildings, killed 3,000 Americans, and hit the Pentagon, after that, we liked Islam more. We took in many more Muslims. Anyway, he says, we became so Islamophobic that my aunt felt awkward wearing a hijab on the subway. And we find out the aunt doesn't wear a hijab, didn't live in New York. Here's his correction.
I was speaking about my aunt. I was speaking about Zerafui, my father's cousin, who sadly passed away a few years ago. And for the takeaway from my more than 10-minute address about Islamophobia in this race and in this city to be the question of my aunt tells you everything about Andrew Cuomo and his inability to reckon with a crisis of his own.
My father's cousin, my aunt. Now, I don't know how they do things in Uganda or Tanzania or what, but in my understanding, it seems like Zohran has a reasonable hold on the English language. Your dad's cousin is not your aunt. She's your cousin. You know, you can have first cousins, second cousins. You can have a first cousin once removed. That's your father's first cousin. You can have, but you don't. I promise you, the cousin of your father is not your aunt. Even if you call her Zerafui, Zerafui ain't your aunt. But he says it as if there was no question. Well, of course. Yeah, I was talking about my father's cousin, my Zerafui. Why would Andrew Cuomo make an issue about this in the race? I said, because you lied. Well, one, because you said Muslims were the real victims of 9/11. You did a Norm Macdonald joke seriously, which is insane. And it is a disgrace that you could even potentially be the mayor of New York, quarter century after 9/11. But also because you lied. You made a stupid point that you lied about. And now you're talking about Zerafui, who conveniently will not speak for herself here. So then he goes on some other show, El Vacilón de la Mañana. And he tries to explain to a somewhat skeptical host the real nature of Zerafui.
I was at the press conference yesterday. They said, can you tell us who your aunt is, who you were referring to? I said, yes, this is my aunt. This is my Zerafui. This is my father's cousin. And this was her story.
So how can you convince New Yorkers if that is the type of person that you are? In other words, that you don't tell the truth?
Well, it's not a lie. My father's cousin is my aunt. That's how I referred to her growing up my whole life, Zerafui. And I think to have the takeaway from the New York Post and so many others after I gave a speech outside of a mosque for 10 minutes about the Islamophobia we've seen in this race and in our politics to be the question of whether or not Zerafui was my aunt.
I mean, Zerafui is my aunt. I called her my aunt. You know, if my aunt had testicles, she'd be my uncle, I guess. He's doing a version of that joke, too, now. He did the Norm joke. Now he's doing that joke. A lady is not your aunt simply because you call her that. Look, I'm Italian. We call people uncle and aunt pretty loosely, but we don't actually believe it. We don't say, oh, he's my uncle. You know, what if I did this bit? You know, Italians do this all the time. It's like your parents' friends. You call Uncle Johnny, Aunt so-and-so, Aunt Jackie. But you say, you know, after The Sopranos came out, it was a very traumatizing time for Italians. My Uncle Johnny wouldn't even take the subway wearing his velour tracksuit. He wouldn't. He felt too ashamed. My uncle, my sweet, beautiful uncle. Oh, no, he's my father's second cousin's barber. But no one would say that seriously. You lied. And now you're just repeating this phrase, Zerafui, like you're putting us into a trance. Zerafui, Gesundheit. Excuse me, I'm talking about my aunt. Okay, all right, Zerafui. She is my father's cousin and therefore my aunt. And how dare you suggest otherwise? He lied. That's it. But he has learned one thing about being a New Yorker. I can tell you this. And for those who do not live in New York, you won't appreciate this. He learned the maxim, deny till you die, which is not good. It's not a Christian principle. I don't encourage it. But it is very New Yorker. It's the most New Yorker thing I've seen about Zohran Mamdani, is you get caught in a lie and you just straight face it. No. What are you talking? No, I didn't lie. No, my neighbor is my aunt. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? No, that my uncle is my aunt. No, what are you talking about? Are you crazy? It's pure gaslighting. That was a good clip. Now stop. Ring the bell. Subscribe. We'll see you next time.